I wrote the Illinois assessment framework for the ISAT test, and I wouldn't let anybody use a word like understand, because I don't know how to assess understanding on large scale. Well, now with the computers and the technology, we are trying to go for understanding. So teachers need to understand, and understand is a very different verb, and to teach for understanding is a very different thing than to teach for somebody to be able to add two-digit numbers together.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On the one that Jenny Winters had, it's like per grade level. On this other one that you're referring to, it says band level.
I know, I saw that right away too. I think that's the biggest change I found. And the thing is, I would still say we need to do grade level first, because really, I need to make sure all of the same grade level understand what their grade level is.
That's a huge
And then we
change
need to
from
go.
your, okay.
And I was gonna say, I think grade bands are used too, and I would want to go to that, because there's a lot of things, like the second grade has a standard that says that kids have to understand arrays of 5 by 5s. And the reason that standard is there is because third grade starts multiplication. There's no better tool for a kid to use for multiplication than make 3 rows of 8 dots than I know what 3 times 8 is. So there's all those kind of little connections that needs to be there. But I would stick with grade level for this spring.
Okay.
And I would start grade band. And actually, that's what, this whole plan, it's like after I meet with each grade level, then I'll know what each grade level needs.
Okay,
because
that's
I'd
a
be really
difference.
surprised
Okay, so
if
big
every
band
grade
level.
level is ready for the same PD at the same time. And maybe they will.
Okay, all right.
No,
So
point of
I usually make a
clarification on
chart.
that.
Oops.
When we're referring to the band, in middle school, we only have one 5th grade, one 6th grade, one 7th grade.
Oh, so that's why you put band in? Okay,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Because unless you want to spend a whole day with one teacher.
Well, I do. Just because, I mean, really, it takes all day to go through the 27 first grade standards. It really takes all day to go through the 6th grade standards too. So, but I know when there's only one, it's hard. You know, a lot of times can get districts to group if they've only got one in each grade level. So I would probably leave that up to
So
them.
that was the
What I would
purpose of
really
it. So
like
you
is
had
to
the
have
option.
all 3 of those teachers for 3 days. And one day we'll concentrate on 6, and one day we'll concentrate on 7th, and one day we'll concentrate.
But this gives you the option.
Exactly,
That
yeah,
was
and
the
that makes
purpose.
sense.
Would we switch it then? I mean, are we revising this at all, or as we go, or where are we at with that?
Let her
Okay.
let her go. I just wanted that for clarification, because that was a big change from the one that Jenny Winters had given to us.
Well, and like I said, I saw it, and too, because I thought I don't want K2 this spring. I really want one whole day with each grade level so that we can feel wrap our arms around. So after we do that, then we can start with summer work. And I would suggest 5 days right after school gets out, so that what I just did with curriculum and assessment is still in my head. And then 5 days like right before school starts. Again, so then I'm getting ready. Then it's nice to take the July off, kind of, because teachers can look for resources and things, which everybody's doing right now. That's really one of the biggest things that has to be done, is finding good resources. And there's good resources on the web, you just need time to find them and put them together. There's not a very good grouping of them to do before that. So that's why we talked about the summer, and then starting again in the fall. And next year, and again, I think we wanted to look at a 2 or 3 year plan so the teachers get the idea that this is something we're going to keep through and keep supporting you through until you're sure of it. And that's very different. We used to think of the curriculum as we write it and we put it in the red binder and it would sit on the back of the shelf and nobody ever touched it again. And then, now we're thinking of curriculum as a living, breathing document. Hopefully we'll go into common assessment so that all 4th graders will take the same homegrown assessment, and then we can use that data and start comparing things and moving things around. Because that's one of the things too, is that there are fewer topics at each grade level now. Like with the Illinois assessment framework, we had like 52 to 56 standards, not standards, but objectives for each grade level. Now we're down to 23. So then the question is, because then you've got 10 months to teach 23 standards, you've only got 2.5 standards a month. 2.5 standards a month. I mean, we had 12 and 15 in some months before. So then it's, okay, how do I spend that much time on only 2 or 3 standards? But that's where the whole idea of the rigor comes in, is that you start with conceptual understanding where they have concrete things that they move around and the kids can see the math. Then you move them into representation and modeling so they can draw it in case they don't have blocks with them. And then you move them into the abstract of just using symbols.
Yeah, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The RTI model for after-school intervention on Ms. Winters it's event 4, 5B. On I'll just say the Pleasantdale one, it says math remediation. Is there a reason why it was differentiated to math remediation from the RTI model for after-school intervention?
I don't see it on here, but I think it was, we felt it was too limiting to say that's the only time you can do it is after school. It's to say math remediation just made it more vague, not vague, but
Okay.
More flexible, I think.
Okay. All right, and my other question is, I know I was not at the meeting, but I did watch the video with Ms. Winters, and she stressed parent interaction. So,
I'm sorry, because I wanted, that's, I'm trying to hold back a lot, but I wanted a parent thing in the spring. You've got a lot of momentum going, and there's a lot of buzz right now about
Right.
math. It's a perfect time to have a parent
Okay,
thing.
but
And
that's
I
my-
wanted it in, but Jenny did not want it in.
No, Jenny
So that's
had it.
no,
why.
no, no, no,
She had
no.
it.
No, she had, event 7, she had staff members actually working with the parents. All it says for ours, or this new one, is this event will include parent education on the standards. That's why Ms. Winters was very specific. This to me is more broad, the one that, the new Pleasantdale one. I think that parent interaction one is vital. And I think the teachers would, they're nodding, they probably kind of.
We're in correct agreement.
So that's what my concern is that what Miss Winters has here is what you agree with, why,
Now we have another plan.
yeah, now we have another plan.
Pleasantdale.
I don't know what,
I don't,
I don't know what's not included in.
Look on page 4, event 7.
Okay.
There's a whole section under parent interaction, and I believe, Christy, you're right, Ms. Winters did go into detail on how to teach parents what the Common Core is, because there's a big gap between what staff knows, kids know nothing, and what parents know. How do you get familiar with the language? How do you see what your kids are doing? We were never taught this way.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think it's anything that can't be included there. I think you're looking at a kind of a brainstorm list. These are some possibilities that we can do on the original one, and we just didn't spell it all out that way.
Well, I don't understand though why you guys change, why don't you just use the original instead of removing stuff? Let me ask Clarence something. Clarence,
but can I just say, on hers, mine copy of hers and the one that, for the parent thing, one's event 6, one's event 7, but it says the same thing. Do you have more detail under something that Jenny sent?
Yes.
Well, it
that's
says
the one that I'm
possibilities.
looking
The one Jenny sent just said possibilities include staff members leading parents in the tasks, parents participating in classroom activities, parents viewing video clips. So
She didn't send me that.
we did some possibilities to brainstorm, but we just,
I guess I'm confused. What plan did Clarence help with? The original?
first thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the original.
Well, then why don't we have her go, I mean, she's explaining that, why are we flipping back forward? Let's throw out the new, the curriculum council plan, because there's so many thumbprints on it that really don't know the Common Core, and go with what these two professionals came up with, right? What I said
Sorry, I
was,
wasn't listening.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking at
I
this.
said we have two
Honestly, I
plans
never got
here.
this from Jenny. So I don't know where this came from, where there's more under event 7. That's not what I got from her.
Did you ever send it to Ms. Einfeld?
So I don't know
Jenny
if
sent it.
she
Jenny
changed
sent her
it.
just a
It would, yeah, I don't know if she's, I don't know. That's my answer, I don't know.
Do you want a
Sorry.
copy of it? Can you get her a copy so she
Well,
knows
like-
what we're talking about?
I can pull it
I she just showed me. And so,
Is there another packet outside that you can bring?
I mean, are you saying, should we change number 7 so
No,
that
I'm
it
just saying,
says
let's go
things
with the
like,
plan that you guys worked on
Yeah,
instead of the
that's what I'm
Pleasantdale
saying
plan.
too.
well, what's the difference between the plan that we worked on and the Pleasantdale plan?
The Pleasantdale plan seems very pared down. And I don't know
I don't know,
what,
without going line by line, which is kind of a waste of the full board's time, we don't really know what's different.
We don't have any cost of how much this is gonna cost. We don't have exact dates. As I said before, the teachers have a lot of PD that they've requested and that they need. I'd like to see an overall plan for PD, because this is just one aspect. There's technology, there's RTI, there's all this stuff. Well, how much is this gonna cost? I mean, there's a lot of questions that aren't answered. I don't feel comfortable approving anything until we get some more
That
information.
broadens the charter quite a bit.
Pardon?
That broadens the scope of this thing quite a bit. I understand what you're saying, but you're including other stuff from technology and everything else, so.
It's a separate issue,
I understand, but you want to see everything together, that's why I want to get it. But
Okay.
it's a question, do you want to see everything together, all the costs lined up? Because
Well, maybe as a separate agenda item for the next meeting, we look at a full professional development plan. For this meeting, what I would have expected with a development plan would have not only been the plan, but then the costs, days, times, what the deliverables are, you know, what we're going to accomplish before school starts, because if we don't have the majority of this done before school starts, we're going to be kicking off another school year with potentially report cards not lined up to the Common Core. I mean,
Like, you know, I have some questions too, like, in this plan, and I don't know when we wrote it doesn't say when our scoping sequence will be done, it doesn't say when our assessments will be done, our outcomes, our report cards.
this is professional development, this is teaching the teachers how Common Core. This isn't the build-up, this isn't the rollout of Common Core, this is the professional development aspect.
So we're gonna start the year with nothing done.
I don't know if that says it. The point of this presentation is, what is the professional development requirement? Well, how are we going to execute professional development? That's one element of Common Core implementation, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, and can I say, that would be a lot easier for me to answer for each grade level after I meet with them, because I don't know where they are. And I would be very surprised if every grade level is ready with everything at the very same time. And maybe they are, I don't know.
And I think I wasn't at your meeting, but my understanding from talking with Matt is that the important thing was that we could start as soon as possible. That'd be tomorrow afternoon, and that we would schedule these meetings with each grade level. So kindergarten for a day, first on through fourth, and then for middle school, you can decide, exactly how we would want to do it.
Wait, we haven't even decided on who's going to be doing this. I mean, one of the other things was that we will be getting a recommendation from, I believe, the math committee on who they wanted to do this. We have no recommendation in here. And we got an email saying that they wanted Miss Winters. So there's something scheduled already, and we haven't even approved who's going to be doing it.
Well, that's part of approving this plan, is that we want to get going with it.
But you scheduled
Just-
something for tomorrow, Mark, so clearly you have the Seinfeld scheduled.
It's pending board approval, so if there's no board approval, there's no event.
This is a disaster. I'm embarrassed.
A disaster,
How
why?
many days do you think
Mark!
this will take?
We don't have the person who wrote the plan
Everything.
here. We have no schedule. We have two plans. We have poor Miss Einfeld here. It's embarrassing to have her sit through this fiasco, in my opinion. We've got teachers here who need help desperately, and we as a board, how are we supposed to approve something? We don't have costs, we don't have anything. I mean, that's how it's embarrassing. It's entirely unprofessional.
Well, what you have before you is the plan that Jenny Winters wrote with Clarence. So this is the plan.
Which one, Mark? The second one, the first one? Which one? Okay.
The original plan is the second plan. That's what Jenny Winters, now whether she changed anything when she emailed that to you.
No, it's,
And to
what
me,
you
I don't know.
included is identical to what she emailed to Mark.
Right, but whether that was exactly the same plan that Claren, you seem to think it's a little bit different, but
But
anyway.
it wasn't Jenny's job to relay to Clarence. We didn't tell her to do that. We asked her to write a plan and present it to the board.
This is the plan. The second plan is Jenny Winters' plan.
Right.
No, the first
So
plan.